Rain softly drummed on the roof of the Blackwood Inn, where Jared had stopped after a long journey to Ravenwood, a town shrouded in thick fog and eerie legends. As a journalist specializing in the mysterious and paranormal, Jared had heard whispers about the Night Wanderer, an entity that appeared at exactly 3 a.m. every rainy night, and anyone who saw it would vanish without a trace. The inn looked old and worn, with dim yellow lights flickering through dusty windows. The innkeeper was a frail, elderly man with thin, silver hair, his eyes deep-set and weary. He looked at Jared with a mix of curiosity and caution. "You shouldn't be here." His voice was hoarse, almost a whisper. Jared dropped his backpack onto the table and shrugged off his wet coat.
"I'm here to investigate the legend. Can you tell me about it?"
The old man sighed and sat down, his gaze distant as he stared out the window. "It's not a legend. It's the truth." The air in the room grew heavier. According to the innkeeper, every rainy night, when the clock struck 3 a.m., a mysterious figure appeared on the main road of the town. This figure was faceless, a tall, shadowy figure with an almost fog-like appearance. Those who saw it would hear whispers in their minds, voices that drove them mad. And then they would disappear. No one knows where it comes from. But anyone who is curious never comes back. The innkeeper looked Jared straight in the eyes. "If you hear a knock at the door in the middle of the night, don't open it." Jared shivered. He'd heard his fair share of creepy stories, but this one it felt too real to ignore. Still, the journalist inside him wouldn't let him leave. He decided he would stay awake until 3 a.m. and witness the truth for himself. Jared sat in his room, recording his thoughts on his recorder, ready to investigate. Outside, the rain continued to fall steadily, and the sound of raindrops on the window created a rhythmic backdrop. The clock on the desk ticked down each second. 2:55 a.m. The wind outside howled. The street lights flickered, and the lights seemed to dim. Jared held his breath, eyes fixed on the door. 2:59 a.m. The room grew unnaturally cold. He felt as though someone was standing just outside, waiting. 3 a.m. The sound of knocking echoed through the room. Jared's heart skipped a beat. He hesitated, his hand hovering over the doorknob, the words of the innkeeper echoing in his mind. "If you hear a knock at the door in the middle of the night, don't open it." The knocking grew louder. Unable to resist his curiosity, Jared slowly opened the door. There was no one there. Just a puddle of water on the floor, as if someone had stood there in the rain. A chill ran down his spine as he closed the door, but when he turned around, the window was wide open. And standing just outside it was a tall, faceless figure. Jared froze. The figure had no face, just a vast void of darkness. A cold gust of wind rushed into the room. Then a voice, not from the figure's mouth, but from deep within his mind, rang out.
"You have seen Annie."
Jared's heart raced. The shadows in the room seemed to grow darker, suffocating him. The figure slowly moved closer. Jared stumbled backward, tripping and falling to the floor. His recorder was still running, capturing the disturbing static and the faint, incomprehensible whispers. The air seemed to drain from the room. A freezing cold wrapped around him. Jared tried to scream, but no sound came out. And then everything went black. The next morning, the innkeeper knocked on Jared's door. There was no answer. He opened the door. The room was empty. The recorder was still running on the table. The innkeeper pressed play.
"You have seen Emmy,"
The voice echoed, followed by harsh static. There was no sign of Jared. Just like all the others who had seen the night wanderer, he had vanished. Chapter 6. The flickering light from that night on. Every time it rained, the room where Jared once stayed still had a dim light shining. But no one was inside. And sometimes, if you listen carefully at exactly 3 a.m., you might hear the faint sound of a knock at the door in the hallway. Would you dare open it?